So jumping in, we're going to spend this afternoon talking about the web client. Do we know who's going to be using the web client here?
I think mostly the officers, I would guess.
Mostly officers? Okay. Okay. Do we have any officers? Okay, I'll try. So I can break the law then. It's okay. The web client is very similar in what it can do compared to Unity, but obviously, as you can see, the layout is different. So it's good to see it if you're going to be using it. You'll log in through Internet Explorer or Chrome or whatever it is that you guys are using here. Unfortunately, the URL that I have doesn't work. So that's allegedly the correct URL, but I think we're trying to make it more simplified for everybody. So we'll have Amanda or Renee get that information out to the people who need it so that they can start using it. But as you look, you notice we actually call these accordion menus. We've got kind of the same stuff here. We've got document retrieval. There's a section for documents, and then down here, you've got the different things with the search for the documents. But let's just go start right now with documents. Excuse me. And as you look, you can see we've got a couple different options that we can use here. We can do the document retrieval, which Jeremy kind of showed how to do in Unity. There's the document handle, which we discussed probably won't be used. You can access custom queries, import documents, indexing, and see your documents that are checked out. So a lot of the same functionality is there, just how you access it is different.
Folders not there?
Folders are right there. So
that drop down he's on right now, that's help one for documents, that's kind of your home base.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty much your default. And I'm guessing that the people that are using the web client are going to mostly be using some of the functionality here. They're not going to be doing a lot of the foldering and workflow stuff. They're not. There's a lot there that they probably won't be using. Typically, in my experience, the people who use web client are people who are remote, that don't have Unity client installed, or that need to have, and so they need to access OnBase through the web, or people who are on Macs. Those are generally the people that we see who use the web client. Generally, everyone else gets to use Unity, which I'm not going to lie, Unity's better. It's more powerful. It's nicer to use. It's prettier. But the web client, it's great too. You can do what you need to do in the web client. So just kind of like Jeremy was saying with Unity, I mean, we can go in, we can look. Cemetery's safe, isn't it?
It's recorder.
So we can choose here, and we can see, let's change this. Let's pick a date there that we can go with so we have something to search off of. And then just go ahead and click the binoculars down at the bottom. We do want to proceed. We know we'll get a lot back. That was my intent. And just like Jeremy was showing earlier, you can adjust this with the Unity client. You can also do it with the web. If you don't want to see the sidebar, maybe you need some more real estate space, screen real estate, you can close it, collapse it. But let's go ahead and open one. Oh, that one's confidential. Let's do this one. If you right click, it doesn't have the icons, but you can still see keywords, you can still see the history, you can still do, all the stuff that was that was done within Unity. It's just different. Just looks different. You can see the history. You can see that we opened this up today. And I don't know why that's not wanting to actually open.
The web client will require ActiveX controls be installed and properly
There
set
we
up
go.
on your system. That's typically the biggest hang-up we see with web clients, so that's something that would need to be addressed with our IT team. Just make sure that you're current on those.
But yeah, we can go into the document here. We can take a look at it. I'm not going to do next document because that one says confidential, but we can do previous document. And you can see you've got, this one's a multi-page document. We've got our controls up here at the top that are the native controls to the type of document that this is. We've got the different thumbnails. I don't know. I'm having some lag here. It may be an ActiveX issue, but we can scroll down and we can see here we've got 7 pages in this document. And for some reason it doesn't want to let me switch pages. Let me try a different one. This one looks like it's going to be a Word document, and it wants to open up in Word here.
So unlike Unity, we can't fully integrate the other applications like Word here, so that will count for a download.
Yep. Yep. So, I mean, you can see though, very similar to the Unity client in terms of the functionality. If you're on the document, you can right-click as well. You can, send it, re-index it. Now, one thing, just a quick little note. A lot of times people will want to change a document type on a document. Maybe when they scanned it in, they brought it in as the wrong doc type. And this one was brought in as a contract, but maybe it's not a contract. Maybe it's a grammar request. If you want to make a change like that, you can, but the place to do it would be within the re-index document. If you go into the keywords, you're not going to have that ability. So, just say, is that something that she does? Also, what was the other? Oh, remind me, I need to talk to you about test data when we're done here as well. So yeah, printing, sending it to people, it's all going to be dependent upon your permissions, of course. But you'll notice here on the send to, there's not, there is still the internal user. It's down at the bottom though, instead of at the top. And that's going to be very similar. Just pick it, and it sends it, and it does the attachment. So that's the document retrieval. Again, like I said, very similar to Unity. Any questions on that? I kind of went through it quickly. You'll notice that a lot of this I'll go through quickly just because you've had the Unity training. There's not a lot to really elaborate on. So custom queries, again, very similar to what we saw previously, except it's too much. Okay, so very similar. You look at it, it's what it is. So, kind of cool, but not really a lot to elaborate on there.
While you can still use the column header and click that to go ahead and sort the results that come back, you still have that ability here. You just don't have that additional filter to read down your results.
True. So yeah, and there's not the group by functionality either in the results where you drag the header up to the top. That's a Unity thing. So import document. You can either select the file or drag and drop. I don't know. Do you want me browse into something here, Amanda, on your system?
You can go into anything you've already, oh, as far as my documents, go to documents. I'm not sure if I have anything. It's a brand new computer.
I don't know. I don't want to pull something up embarrassing.
That's on my home computer.
I don't know what's there, but yeah, you can either browse to it through here and select it like I just did, or if you've got it on your desktop or wherever, you can drag and drop it on, and it will do that. Then you're going to go ahead and index it like you would, like we showed in Unity.
I thought of something you can use.
Okay.
You'll go back in there, go into the S drive. And then let's do minutes. Pick a year.
Let's go to 1998.
1998.
Yep, 1998. See, these are all old documents, and that's why it's.
Unfortunately, preview's not available because is that WordPerfect? I haven't seen a WordPerfect extension for a long time, since about 1998, I think.
Okay, go into 2009. It might still be Word.
Well, we have to make sure that extension works, because we do have Word documents that are old.
They're PDFs, so that's good.
2010, I clicked on the wrong one. Okay. So that one's pending import. I don't want that there. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel that. Click the red X at the bottom. Okay, so we've got our thing here. This is obvious. Obviously, we want to put it in the right one. Where do you put those? Recorder?
Minutes. There should be recorder. Yeah, the recorder and then minutes. There we go.
Okay. So we're going to choose our meeting date. And
Can you just type it in?
yeah, I'm going to. Okay, and then meeting type, this was a council meeting, and it's a minutes document. Now, I don't know. I assume I did that correctly. I'm not the recorder or the clerk, so I'm just guessing at this point. But I'm assuming that I indexed that properly. So I'm going to go ahead and click import. And you'll notice it grayed out. So it is successful. It is now in the system. Now, part of the reason that I pointed out the fact I don't know if I did that correctly, we're going to be deleting all the test data. So you guys can upload stuff into the system. You can play with things, tweak values. We're going to clear it out. So all your test documents are not going to stay there. So
they cannot
Their
start
test
uploading real
documents will.
documents? I thought they could.
The ones we brought over, we'll clear out. The ones you put in the system, each of you, you'll need to clear those out yourself.
yes. So the test stuff will be gone, assuming you know what you did and you go in and remove it.
So do we have, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Do we have the option right now going either into the test or into the actual?
I do.
Oh, you do.
It's pretty limited on who has access to that. So
Well, we determined it'd be easier just to go directly into production, because then you've got documents there. The test system is set up similar to production, but the documents aren't there.
So if I'm going to do anything right now, it's still good to use Sire.
You can put it in here.
You can put
We're
new
just
things.
asking that
From
if you
what
were
I-
testing, you
Yeah,
would
to
test documents.
clarify, the documents that
Oh,
were
I see.
imported in, they will delete.
Okay.
If you put documents in for testing, you need to make sure and delete it. But if it's real,
Like this.
it will, they shouldn't touch it and it should stay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Janine wants you to keep going and finish that folder.
Would you
Yeah,
please?
The whole, but I want you to go in and, because you said you can go into the folder and just drag it and drop it, right?
Yes, I can.
That is one thing I did not show in Unity. You can drag and drop if you do not wish to go through the upload wizard.
So minutes. Let's do another one here.
If you drag and drop a WordPerfect document, will it work?
Any document.
Watch me.
You just can't see it.
Yeah. Alright, stop using developer,
Oh, really?
Where did that go?
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Unknown file
Unknown
type.
file type thing.
So we did learn something today. Hopefully you learned a lot of some things. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, let's try this one. It's got an extension. Okay, so we can bring that one in, the .wpd. Those other ones don't have a file extension, so I don't know what they are,
Okay.
and neither does the system. So you'll notice here, we've already got some of our tags here. Unfortunately, PDF. That's not a PDF. I don't know what that's going to do with it.
Just to
You
note,
don't have WordPerfect up there? Come on.
as a side note, OnBase is built for electronic content management, right? So we've made this to support a lot of files, as you can see from that drop down. Additionally, you really can store just about any file in OnBase. The biggest difference that you're going to see is whether OnBase knows what to do with it, right? It does have a basic media player in here, so you can play some media files, video, audio. But like, say for example, you upload a zip file or an executable file that's made to install a program, right? It'll store it, it'll keep keywords with it, it'll put it in a document type, any document type you want, regardless of what that document type's set up for. It just won't know what to do with it, right? So when you go to retrieve it, you're going to have to download that out and then do whatever you need to with it.
Yeah. So we'll upload it. It wants to upload it as a PDF. I'm going to let it. And it was successful. So, yay. Oh, and I accidentally just almost did it did it a second time. But you'll notice that the document type groups, document types, the file type, that was all there. I changed the meeting date. I left the other keywords there. So that's importing a document. Let's go back and retrieve a document here. We're going to find those documents that we just uploaded and delete them. That didn't work.
I didn't really show them the date range. You could show them the date range. Project by the date.
Oh, the date range.
There.
So the document date on that should, there.
Watch out, Michael's coming for you.
I actually met him. But yeah, there's this drop down here. So if you know, okay, we want it to be today, and this other one, we can
No,
change
this
stuff.
one, just let them in.
Yeah, we can change stuff here as well. So, but this is what we want for today. So let's go ahead and try a search here, and we have these two documents that we found. We know this is the one we were just looking at. We don't want it anymore. So we'll just go ahead and right click and it will delete. And then there's that, of course, that WordPerfect one that the system doesn't even know what to do with.
So you're saying you can download that?
So yeah, you would have to send it to File, and you want to choose Native Format, and then OK, and it will actually download the file onto your system, assuming you have permissions. So we'll just go ahead.
Same thing with deleting it, right? Unless you have the permission to do that, you
Yes.
won't be able to.
Yes, correct. So yeah, we'll just delete those. And speaking of the test data, that's how easy it is to delete documents from the system.
You guys, I would imagine a lot of document types and security groups don't have access to delete documents. So if you are adding test data and you have that privilege, administrators, Amanda, we probably want to look at whether or not you want to temporarily grant permission to delete documents, assuming the ability to create uploads in place, unless you want to delete them for them.
Yeah.
Just
We'll
noting that.
temporarily give that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rebecca, don't let me forget to take it off.
Indexing. This is, again, we don't have anything in the scan queues. But this is basically what Jeremy showed with the scan training earlier. Going to be very similar. Unfortunately, like I said, there's nothing there for us to play with.
Within the web client, just like a license is required in Unity, a separate license isn't required in the web client. So while the function's available there, I don't know that you guys have the license for it. So
Well, I think the concept we've come up with is those that are using the web client are people that are probably just retrieving.
right.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything else but able to look at documents.
Yeah.
So we're not worried about the licensing in this case.
Okay, and then documents checked out. Again, these are, like Jeremy showed earlier, these are going to be documents that you have checked out to you that you're modifying keywords on or whatever the case may be. They'll show up here. Sometimes, occasionally, I will have a system crash on me when I'm working on a document or working on a workflow or something, and I go back in and it will say, you've checked this out, or this document is checked out. And I can go into the documents I've checked out and I can see that I'm the person that checked it out. I just check it back in and then I can check it back out and take care of my work that I'm doing. So that's the document section. Workflow we're not doing, correct, Renee? Just let you know, workflow is there. It is a thing. It's very similar to what Unity is. I think, though, that the actions are down here at the bottom instead of at the top. So we're not going to spend a lot of time there since that's not something you're using. Folders, again, just like with the Unity client, it's very similar. It shows stuff, and I'm really hoping nothing actually pops up and shows. Is that? Nope, I don't want to see stuff. So you can see down here we've got the child folders. You can see related folders as well. You can see the documents that would be in there. So yeah, very, very similar to the Unity client, how that works. User. This is where you have your mailbox. If you get something sent via the internal mail, internal on base, this is where you're going to go for that. You've also got your envelopes, which Jeremy talked about, and then options. Now, this is something that you may or may not want to change, the retrieval default date. A lot of people don't want a default date set in there because they're changing all sorts of dates. But if you know you're only checking stuff from the first of the month, and then once that month is done, you're checking stuff from the first of the month of the new month, you can change it to first of the month or last of the month. You can make the changes here that you want in terms of that default date for your retrieval. And then there's a couple other options there as well that you may or may not need. Client settings. This is kind of like again, like the user options in Unity. You can change a few things here. You're probably not going to use a little bit or use this much. There is the always show preview. Maybe you like that, maybe you don't. You don't need to see what it is because you've got it pulled up in Word on your other screen, so whatever, it's really up to you, personal preference. Then locked objects. Again, you may or may not have this. This is probably an administrative thing, but if you notice something is locked by another user, this is where you would go in to remove that lock. And then admin. This is something that you probably, none of you will use except maybe Amanda, who probably won't even use it. Just a list of the users.
There is some basic user controls available to you.
Now, a couple things here. Let's go back into our, was it recorder and contracts? Oh, dang it. I hate it when I do that. Okay, so we go into the contracts. Let's do year to date. Is there going to be anything there year to date? Nothing. Okay, so we've got these. We've got this add to favorites. If this is something that you're going to be using a lot, document retrieval, you can add it to your favorites. And then once you click on that little star, you can see, okay, I've got document retrieval pulled up here. Is that really what I want? I can call it something else. I can call it, I don't know, awesomeness given by magic or something. You can also set it as your home page. So when you log in to Unity, it's kind of like the personal page, or when you log into the web client, it's kind of like the personal page in Unity, where you can set that as your home page. Unfortunately, you don't have all of the awesome stuff displaying at one time like you do with Unity, but you do have the option of changing your home page layout. So instead of going to that, it goes to this instead. So, and then you can also remove it. Once you have multiple favorites, they'll just be listed here. It'll just go down the bottom. So it's pretty cool. And I gotta tell you, that's a web client. I mean, there's not a lot to it. So I promised we wouldn't go an hour and a half. We went about what I expected to go, about half hour. Does anybody have any questions?
Anything you want to see again that we've covered?
We went through all this today pretty quickly. If you want to revisit something, we've got time.
From a raise of hands, can you see how many are comfortable doing a document retrieval in on-base now?
A bunch of half hands.
I learned by doing, not how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the best way, that's exactly right. The best way is to just get in and do it. You're going to learn really quickly the stuff that does and doesn't work. And if
Are we able to link to actually see a document scan and index in instead of being?
You mean like as far as you being able to scan it? Not yet, but if you're the person in your department who will have that license, I can assign it to your workstation.
It's gonna be,
But it's who the
it's AJ, right? Is he the only one that's gonna be scanning, or are there gonna
No,
be?
it'll be just like it is now. So you'll still scan, it'll just be, you won't be sitting at that dedicated workstation. So it's basically.
Okay, I just wanted to see what it looked like when it's scanned.
Yeah, we can put
You
one
are
in.
totally welcome to come to my office after this and see.
Okay.
It really is that. It really isn't that much different than the sweeping, because it's so we went out pointed to the folder that we wanted to sweep documents in from, right? If you recall that. With the sweeping, as that's going, you would see the image scan of the document come up and process as it's going. Other than that, everything else is identical to what we saw.
So you were able to grab a document and drop it in there instead of going out and searching for it? Can you grab a file and put a file in, or is it only document?
File and documents, anonymous, you mean a folder?
A folder, yeah, sorry. Can you grab a whole folder that has 20 documents in it and drop it on there and it'll identify the 20 documents?
I haven't tried that, I'm not sure. You might be able to.
Can you highlight 3 or 4?
Yeah, you could do that.
Oh,
Actually,
Can we,
well,
like,
the
just
upload
scan
is
stuff and
meant
send
for
it
one
to him
document
to
at
put
a
in
time,
there?
right? So in that case, no. Scanning and indexing, you could try it there. I've never done it. Usually you have to point to where you're
So
going. right?
here, and probably you're going to do it.
Yeah, most likely. If you're importing a document, you're importing a document. I just tried to drag that whole folder. It looked like it was going to go, but then nothing happened. So
Depending on, see, that's another thing with the scan queue configuration. That is possible, actually, now that I think about it, because I just did it last week. But the scan queue has to be configured to specifically know that you're doing that. It's looking for a document immediately. If you want to include folders, subfolders, or anything like that, and tell it to go look in that, it needs to know that beforehand. But you can do that. You can say sweep from this location, and you can configure the scan queue to include all subfolders and everything under there.
Unless it's not part.
and yeah, when you actually go to the browse, if you were to try and select the whole folder, it's not going to let you. It's only going to let you do individual files. That being said, we can do multiple, and you can see that it just pops them up right there. So
Well, they're all still going to get the same keyword values, right? Because we're not in batch processing.
probably.
So if you brought 5 up, that would have all have the same keyword. So you really need to do it one at a time then.
Yeah.
Actually, no. You do one, and then you choose the next, and you can change your keywords.
All right. So there you go. One at a time.
And when you go back and forth, it keeps the date.
When you go back and forth, it keeps the what?
Okay, so you got that index, now what did the other one change the
Just schedule
schedule date?
decision from yours, and then the documents will be made available to everyone else after it's been stuff. When you're scanning, you're saving on scanning. You scan in batches. You're just.
Well, because it would be.
So, yeah,
I would grab like a batch.
So really, they could be 3 totally different things.
they could. They could.
So just because you're former Sire customers, there's one other thing I'd like to note that we've seen a popular question on. A lot of people are used to adding a document to Sire, and then say a year later, process requires to come back to a building permit or something like that, and append a new document to it. So if you have the software on your machine that OnBase can use to create a new revision, and obviously the document type's enabled for revisions, you can add that page to a previous document and create essentially a revision of it. Or in most cases, a lot of people just added it to the folder so that it was included with the Sire documents. So that particular folder that was in Sire is gone from OnBase, right? We just have the documents. But that same function and approach still works the same. It'd simply be another document with the exact same keywords as the original document. So you do a search for, say, building permit number, and instead of just having your original one-year-old document come up, you'd also see the new one that you've just added. So that search or result window would essentially take place of your folder now. Okay?
That makes sense.
All right. Anything
Okay.
else?
Y'all aren't a very talkative bunch, I gotta say. Kind of quiet.
All right. Well, thanks for your time and attention today.
Yes.
Wish you guys a lot of good luck with it.